Hi, I'm Stacy Forster, and I'm your instructor for J202. Welcome to the J School and to our course. We're not going to have lecture this first week of class, but I'm here in 2195, which is where we will meet every Monday. You should go to the second lab of the week, so that means if you have lab on Monday, Wednesday, you'll go to lab Wednesday. Tuesday, Thursday, you should go Thursday, and Wednesday, Friday labs should meet on Friday. So I will come and stop by and introduce myself, so will the lead TA, SK Tay, and we will just come say hello. So I'm really looking forward to that. Until then, I want to give you sort of a top 10 things I've learned from past J202 students, just to kind of help prepare you for the roller coaster of 15 weeks of J202 that we have ahead of us. It's going to be really fun. So first things first, top 10 things we've heard about 202. First, make it more like 8 credits. And yes, I hear what the student is saying. For a 6-credit class, we do a lot. Between lab and lecture, you're going to spend almost 8 hours a week with us, and that's just in classwork. We have a fair amount of out-of-class work as well, which leads to number 2. The website is the best resource ever. With all the moving parts that we have in this class, the one really important thing to know, one way to be successful, is to use this website often. So it's 202.journalism.wisc.edu, and you should go play around with that over the weekend and learn how to navigate it successfully. So I'm just going to go there right now so you can get a peek at what it looks like. So if you click through all the menus, you'll see we've got the syllabus, the schedule for the class, which is set up like a spreadsheet in Google, so you can see all the different assignments and when they're due and what you're going to be doing in lab each week. You'll also find all of the assignments posted here, so you'll know where to find those when it comes time to do them. You'll find information about quizzes, any training that we do for software, you'll find under that training tab. You should familiarize yourself with the individual story assignment. That's something you're going to be working on over the first 12 weeks. Just ignore this final project stuff for now because we'll get to that later. And then this admin tab, which has lecture slides and information about extra credit and how to get to Canvas and all kinds of other things there. So get to know this well, figure out how it's organized and what's there, and you'll be ready to go when you need to. If you find something's missing or you don't know where it is, let me know because I can always try to fix the site and make it a little bit easier to find. You'll also see all of our office hours are listed there as well. Okay, third thing we heard from J202 students, definitely as many deadlines as my J-School friends said there would be. And so there are a lot of deadlines. There's so many different kinds of assignments that we have, and that's where really understanding this schedule comes into play. And because some of you want to do reporting and some of you want to do strategic communication and some of you are looking to do something maybe that's a mix of those, we're going to give you a range of skills and teach you how to kind of do all of those things, and then you can figure out where you fall and what is most interesting to you. And so learning how to manage that is a skill in itself, and organization is one of the things that you're going to find you're going to get really good at this semester. And one of the things that's important in this field, no matter where you work, is meeting deadlines. And so we try to make it as easy as possible for you to follow along with those, but this schedule is kind of the go-to place for keeping track of all of that. So you got to know how to meet a deadline. Every assignment you have will have a specific deadline. I'm not going to stand up and lecture and say, this is due this day, this is due on Thursday, this is due Monday. You're going to have to keep track of all of that here. So go back to the schedule, understand it. If you have questions, let us know. Like I said, if you look at over on the right side, there's kind of a color code that tells you how those things compare to what, which category. So if it's something, it's an individual story assignment, you'll be able to tell that is different from something that we do for practice in lab. So you can also take a look at this and plot your semester so you know when kind of the crunch periods are. Okay, one other thing we hear from J202 students, make grading less difficult. And I do want to spend a few minutes addressing this right up front because this is something that we hear a lot. And so there's a sheet that will have you read this first week about understanding your grades, so please take the time to do that. And it explains to you the grading standard that we use, which may be a little different than what you've seen in other courses. So the graph on the left is kind of a sliding scale where we say, okay, we know you're a good writer, we're asking you to do things very differently, so we're going to lower our expectations in the beginning because we know it's going to be hard at first, so we're going to lower that bar a little bit. And then as you get better, we keep raising that bar. But what doesn't work so well about that, and then you get frustrated later on, is that you don't see any improvement because we keep making it harder and your grades don't improve. What we do in J202 is use this more consistent standard that's on the right. And we set the expectations high at the beginning of the semester, and we allow you to grow and work toward that consistent standard. And your grades will go up as you get better. And it will make you much happier in the end because you're going to see that kind of progress. The flip side is, in the beginning, it's kind of uncomfortable. You may see grades that you haven't seen before on writing assignments. Maybe you get a 70 or even lower if you have a fact error in there, and that's going to be jarring. I know it would be for me because I always like getting good grades, and you've done well to get accepted here, but you have to trust me that if you work hard, do the work early on, and learn how to do it right, and keep working at it, and incorporating all the feedback that you're going to get from your wonderful TAs, you will reach that standard by the end of the semester. Your grades will improve, you will be happy, and you'll be really proud of yourself for the progress that you've made. So if you go ahead, work hard, take risks, you're going to see that upward trend in your grades. Then there are so many assignments that one thing is not going to make or break your grade. And so, early on, these early assignments are de-emphasized, and we put more emphasis on the things toward the end of the semester. We do use Canvas for all of our grading assignments, and grading are all going to be done there. So you can always check and see how you're doing at any given time, but it's going to be hard to really know what your final grade is going to be until we get through the end of the semester. If you have questions about your grades, always go to your TA. You can always come to me, and we're happy to talk through some of that with you. Okay, that goes to my next point, because it goes without saying, but in this class, we really, really mean that I and SK, the lead TA, and your TA always willing to help. Your TA is going to mean the world to you by the end of the semester because you will have learned so much from him or her, and you will spend time with SK and me in ways that you maybe wouldn't expect for a class of 105 students. And I'm going to have, I'm going to encourage you to come meet me in special office hours, and I'm going to stop in labs, and I'm going to try to get to know you so that we're having that J202 experience together. You have a ton of ways you can communicate with us. We have a Twitter hashtag, we've got a Facebook group. Make sure to join that. I'll post there from time to time. You can go there to look for suggestions from classmates. If you don't know how to find an answer to something, maybe somebody else in the class has already found it. And at some point in the semester, I do want you to come see me in office hours. I'll have them on Mondays and Thursdays. I'm right next door to Schwach, so if you know where he is, you can easily find me. But I'm open, if there are other times that you want to come in and talk or go over an assignment or ask questions, please feel free to reach out to me to do that. I love to get to know you and see, what you're interested in and being a part of in the J School and beyond. We also have a survey that I want you to fill out this week, just with some information so I can really get to know you, because that's really my favorite part of this class, is like getting to have that one-on-one relationship with you, seeing where you start and seeing where you end up. And then, I teach also at the 300 and 400 level in our curriculum, so chances are we'll probably run into each other again. So this is a hard course with a ton going on, and that's, again, why my door is always open, because I want you to feel like you can come to me if you're struggling. The last thing that I want to do is, when I get the course evaluations in the summer, is to see that somebody had a terrible experience and I didn't know that, because I can do things to help you. So please use me in that way, because I do want to be sure that this is a good experience for you. Okay, number 6. Bonding with your lab rocks. You are going to find that the people around you in your lab become really close friends. When you get to that first lab meeting, check out who's there, because they are going to be your partners for J202 this semester. You're going to spend a ton of time together. You're going to do some amazing work as a group, and you're going to form pretty cool relationships, not only with your lab mates, but with your TA. It's not going to be easy, that's part of the learning process. If you go into this field, you're going to be working in kind of a group environment at times, in an agency or a newsroom or a production booth, and so you're going to be thrown with people that maybe you have to learn how to work with. And so that's part of the experience, but as a whole, the lab experience turns out to be really a lot of fun. Okay, students definitely walk out of J202 knowing the phrase anhydrous ammonia, and that will mean much more to you in a couple weeks. You probably will cringe when you hear that by week 12, but it's part of a semester-long incident that we use as a framework for telling a variety of different stories. So we write news stories about this incident. We do press releases. We think about how the company that spilled this chemical would react from a PR perspective. It's all tied back to this fictional train crash and resulting chemical spill that supposedly takes place in Stoughton, Wisconsin. And here's a picture of someone posted to an old JSchool hashtag, JSchool problems. We should bring that one back. But these assignments, you're going to get sick of it probably, but they do have a purpose. They're a way of showing you all the different components that we're trying to get you to learn and how they relate back to this one particular incident. And sometimes students do get frustrated writing about the same thing for so many weeks, but we do it because it actually makes things easier for you. You have one set of facts that you're going to learn, and you're going to learn them really well, and you're going to produce a ton of content around that. So that allows you to focus on your writing and your message more than the facts of the story. Okay, students also love what we call the IS story. It's a super dynamic project, and this is where you get real-world experience writing and reporting and gathering information and trying to promote it to an audience. So this is a key assignment that you're going to work on throughout the semester. We'll talk more about it these first couple weeks of J202. And it hits more on the reporting side of our curriculum, although there are some marketing components to it. But it's really fun. It's a highlight of the semester for students. It allows you to leave with a real package of content that you can show potential employers. And you show us how you're taking what you're learning in lab and using it in another context. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a topic, something that interests you. This student chose to do boxing, returning to the University of Wisconsin. And you're going to write a series of stories, audio stories, take some photos, and put it all together in a website. And so you have a lot of leeway to pick something that interests you, and the structure of J202 is such that you come into lab, you learn how to do something. Maybe it's design, so I'll start with a lecture on principles of design. You'll do some software training, you'll come to lab, and you'll do an assignment as a group where you're doing a layout, and then you go on and you do a layout for yourself for an IS piece. So we'll talk more about this IS assignment in lecture and in lab, but you should check out the resources on the class website so you understand what the different components are, and maybe start thinking of something that you want to take on and explore in the first 12 weeks. The last part of the class we do over the last 4 weeks of the semester is really a StratCom project, and we hold that out as kind of a bright, shiny object for the StratCom students because you're going to work with your lab to create some kind of entrepreneurial product. So maybe it's a guide for study abroad at UW-Madison, or your idea for a new roommate matching service. And you're going to come together as a lab and create this product, and then you have to sell it to a panel of angel investors. So that's the fun part. We get to that, weeks 12 through 15. For the first couple weeks, you're really down in the weeds with anhydrous ammonia, but just hang in there because it gets really, really fun at the end. Okay, number 9, this course pushes you to become a better writer. And the student who wrote this followed up with, I really liked that we had hard deadlines and assignments that mirrored what we'd be doing outside of the classroom as journalists and PR people. And I love writing, I love teaching writing, and nothing warms my heart more than to see you walk out of J202 completely different writer than you were when you started. We're going to teach you a bunch of different ways to write and reach different audiences, and you're going to have to think about how to present information differently depending on who it is you're writing for. So everything you do has a purpose, and everything we ask of you is going to lead you to something more. And so it's going to make you a better all-around communicator. And that's my goal, and I know you'll see that by the end of the semester. Okay, then the last thing that I want to say that we've heard from students is this course is a crazy amount of work, but it's worth it. And this is something we hear over and over again. I hear it when I talk to former students who graduated and now they're out in the field. We don't hear this early in the semester, though. Those first few weeks are challenging, but by the end, you're going to see how the investment of time and energy and effort has totally paid off. And I can't make you do that investment. That's up to you. But I believe that you'll do it, and when you do, you're going to be so proud of what you've done by the end, and I'll be proud too of every one of you. One of the things we ask you to do early on is to write about something, a piece of work, maybe it's writing, photos, videos, something that inspires you. And for me right now, one of those things is the Hamilton soundtrack. And if any of you are fans, one of my favorite lyrics is where he says, someday, yeah, you'll blow us all away. And that's how I feel about all of you. Someday in 15 weeks, you're gonna be up here in this very room pitching your final project idea, and we're just gonna, be so proud of how far you've come this semester. So someday for us, 15 weeks. I can't wait to see what you do. So let's get to it. See you soon.